Carlton, welcome to Grantham. How do you feel to be appointed as our new manager?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I mean, like I said, it came out of the blue. The conversation really was to do with Curtis Woodhouse, really. I mean, this is all come around through Curtis. I mean, my wife and I have been in Shanghai for 7 years. With COVID, we came back last March, and unfortunately, we've not been able to get back since then. So my wife had made her mind up that she was going to come back, and so we made a decision we were going to come back together. So, but I only made that decision about 4 or 5 months ago that I was going to come back with her. Fortunately enough, I've been able to negotiate the last year of my contract, and then just thinking, well, what I was going to do. Obviously, I'd spoken to Sky and I'd spoken to a few people, and the obvious route was for me to go back into the media. My wife had mentioned me going back into football management, and I said, no way, absolutely no way. There's a reason why I resigned from Mansfield when I did. I wasn't enjoying it. And then, strangely enough, that evening I was speaking to Curtis Woodhouse. He was telling me about how much he's enjoyed working in non-league. He actually asked me they'd love to get me in some capacity. And I'd said to Curtis, well, I'm not really a number two, or a coach, really. I'm my own man who does his own things and has his own project. And then a day later, Curtis rang me back and said, I might have something for you. He said, I know the chairman, Darren Ashton, he's a straight guy, and you're a straight guy. He said, I think the two of you get along really well. And that's where it all started. And the conversations and the plotting and the planning started there.
What is it about sort of the project at Grantham that attracted you to the role?
It's the project, and also being able to do it the way that I want to do it. As I said to the chairman, I want to have some fun doing it. I don't want it. The game now, the professional game, there's no fun in it. It doesn't seem any fun. I think another player's just come out today, who's at Charlton, who said he wants to go home. I think he's an Icelandic player who wants to go home because he's just not enjoying it, and think about whether he wants to continue playing football. So the basis of it all was, Darren's obviously a young chairman and young in that role, and he didn't really enjoy the experience last year, as well as putting in a lot of money into the club. So we're both aligned on where we need to be in terms of, we want to make it fun. Obviously, we want to do well, and we want to put a project together, which we are doing. I've been working with young players for the last 14, 15 years. I want to work with young players. You find that the younger players are hungry, more determined, whether they're non-league. We're aligned on the project and how we want to go forward, and what we want to build for the football club. And Darren understands, to do that, there needs to be time. There needs to be, it can't be result-based. And it needs to be time. And I don't want to play a team. I don't want to play a system to get a result. I want to play a team to get a performance. I want to play a style of play that's pleasing to the eye. The way that I used to play with Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United. And, we want to get some supporters back to Grantham. That's what we want to do.
You touched upon there, you say you like to play with young and hungry players, and that's something we have at the academy. How important do you think it is to have that connection with the academy and the club as a whole? How important is it to bring through your own talent?
Well, absolutely, it's massive. I mean, if you can, what's the point of having an academy and paying all that money to have an academy, and you don't develop your young players and don't bring them through to play? I mean, obviously, there's money to be made if you can do that. But Darren's told me that they've lost players because they've not had the opportunity in the first team. So we're going to have a look at that. I've got Matt is in there today with the Lewis and Alex, and he's going to, you know, go through the whole structure of it all, and we're going to sit down and come up with a plan going forward to make sure that we develop our own players and we can develop those players to come through and play in the first team. And I look at the old structure, look at the league that they're playing in, look at the under-19s, and we want to align it all the way through the club. You know, what I want to do is create a culture that runs all the way through the football club.
One of the things that sort of a lot of fans have been impressed about is your decision to bring the training back to Grantham. How important is that to sort of have that local community feel? I mean, people can come and watch the training, obviously, and how important is it to have just sort of that connection between both players and fans as well?
Yeah, well, I've said that to Darren when we first spoke. I said, you know, I understand that there was a lot of Sheffield-based players or around that area, so it might have made sense for them to do the training. I mean, I'm based in Sheffield, but I really don't, you know, the club is Grantham FC. We should train in Grantham. You know, if we're wanting to get crowds in, we want to get young players in, we want local players in, it's important that we train in Grantham. It's important that there's an identity. It's important that the fans can come down and watch training and have an interaction with the players. And hopefully, if we can get results and we can play a brand of football that they're enjoying, then we can get the crowds back, which is the aim.
And then it's been a difficult couple of years for the club, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch with coronavirus surrounding. But how excited are you to get back playing football in front of the fans again and just meeting them in general?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been difficult, but we've already talked about that. Me, Jazz, and Matt, we're already on with. I think we've got 8 or 9 players signed up. We've got a few more that we're talking to over the next few weeks. I want to get the squad in place because, you know, fitness is key to me. I don't care what anybody says. Systems, tactics, all of that goes out the window. If you're not fit, you can't play a system or you can't play a certain tactic because you can't retain the football and you can't go and get the football back. So we're already setting up a WhatsApp group with the players that have been signed. They'll be giving fitness programs. We'll be starting pre-season back the first week of May. We were going to start on the 1st of May, but it's bank holiday. I will be in close contact with Chaz and Matt. We will have, you know, Zoom calls and whatever. And, you know, I think the first game's not till the 8th of August, so I still have a good time when I get back. And hopefully if we can get the pre-season right in terms of the players, because I'm not a big one on pre-season friendlies, like I said to the chairman. Something that has always been instilled in me by Ron Atkinson and Howard Wilkinson is, you know, don't get too hyped on the pre-season friendlies. It's about getting to the first game of the season with all your players fit. So that's my priority, to get to the first game with everybody injury-free and everybody to the standard of fitness that I require for them to play the football that I want to play. So that's our priority. We're already on we're sorting pre-season out. Matt's, as I say, is down at the ground today with the academy and the academy director and speaking to those guys, and he'll report back to me later. And then we'll make a plan on which way we're going to go with the academy to the aim is to develop young players that will come through to play in the first team for Grantham. And that's a process that's going to take time, of which Darren's buying into. Now, Darren's not looking for a quick fix. Darren's freely admitted that if the season hadn't been curtailed 2 years on the trot, Grantham would have been relegated. I can't promise the supporters anything, but I can promise them one thing: they will not get relegated. And we're going to play a brand of football that's going to be pleasing on the eye. But we're also going to, you know, I believe, and I've looked at matches from previous seasons at Grantham, and it's an open pitch, and It's going to be very windy. So, you know, listen, we're going to have to use that to our advantage, because from what I'm hearing, teams don't like to come and play at Grantham. So we've got to use those factors and maybe play a different style at home with those conditions to get the results that we need to get. So, you know, I knew at Leeds United, people didn't like to play at Leeds United. And so we used to train at the top, come down when the whistle went, 20 minutes the game was over, because people didn't want to come and play at Leeds United. And when the Leeds United fans got going, and we want to create a similar environment at Grantham, where we can take players, you know, already not wanting to play there and put them under an enormous amount of pressure.
And I guess sort of the final question from my sort of side of things is, have you got a message to the fans in general? I mean, they're all looking forward to welcoming you over, seeing you at training, watching your games, but have you got a message for them in general?
Oh, just really, you know, in general, I'd just like to, you know, for them to support the football club and come out. I mean, I have to be honest with you, Darren, it's the COVID's been what it is. And they have to give the chairman credit for doing what he's done in this particular difficult time. So the chairman needs support, and the players need support. I need support, and this is going to be a new era. I think, like, if we look at what's happened in the game, in the actual leagues now, the games become detached from the local man in the street. Whereas, you know, because of the price that it costs to go and watch a Premier League game or you know, a top Premier League team. So we want to get the supporters down there. We want to give them, you know, if they can't afford to go and watch, you know, Sheffield Wednesday or Lincolnshire or Derby, then come and watch Grantham Town. You know, come and have a day out, bring the family, and we hope to deliver a team that will play some entertaining football. The one thing I will guarantee them, there is no team of mine that will ever take the football pitch and not give 100%. They never did at Mansfield, and they certainly didn't at Stockport. They always gave their all, and so that's the minimum that they can expect from the team. But the players we're recruiting at the moment, they're good players who've played at this level and above this level, and so, you know, I'm excited at what we may be able to achieve if the players buy into it, because you've got to remember it's non-league, and so when you're training twice a week or one time a week, you need the players to train extra. When I was playing at Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United, and people used to say I was the fittest player in the Premier League, it wasn't because I was just training with Leeds United or Sheffield Wednesday. I used to train 2 evenings a week with a personal fitness guy. So, you know, I need the players to buy into what I'm saying. Well, what happens with that, if they're enjoying it, if they're getting the results, then of course they're going to train hard and train themselves and get themselves in a position to keep doing well. So yeah, really super excited, and I want to see as many fans as we can in you know, down at training, meet the players and meet myself, and then obviously we'd love to see them all at the games.